Kristen, after watching the movie, I went back and listened to Lydia's book as an audiobook. And that was a great way to do it because it really gave me a new appreciation for the editing rhythm you create. The way she collapses time between sentences is similar to what you do in terms of collapsing time between images. Tell me about finding that rhythm as you were editing the movie.
Yeah, I just don't think you remember your life in a particularly linear fashion. And there are synapses that sort of rocket you to and fro across decades that feel sometimes closer to the surface than the moment that you're living. And because the movie because the movie attempts to kind of, I don't know, break form in order to find like a truer truth, the whole endeavor was about like making a whole life that we could stitch back together, because that's what it's like to take your life into your own hands and like figure out your own terms for it, organize it in a way that is livable. It's what art can do for us. It's what writing can do for some people if that's their, medium. So yeah, the whole thing, I wanted it to feel kind of like a DMT trip.
There's a key line in the book that I really like, and that's the more a person recalls a memory, the more they change it. And in this case, it's an interesting layer because you're interpreting someone else's memory, so you're recalling it on a different level. Were you afraid of changing anything from Lydia's experience as you were making it?
There were certain things that I felt incredibly loyal to, and then certain things that I wanted to like imbue a universality, like through kind of just our own selves. The whole book is about unearthing the self. And so it wasn't about Lydia. It was about Emmy. It was about me. It was about everyone that was on our set. You know what I mean? So no, the details didn't matter to me. It was about form. And it was about kind of like every girl being allowed to see herself in the film.
Imogen, one of the most affecting scenes in the film, I think, is where you let your daughter's ashes into the water, and that whole sequence is terrific. And that scene is in the book as well. What I noticed, though, I don't recall Lydia in the book saying that she said sorry as she did that, but you do in the film. Was that your addition? Was that something you brought to it in the moment?
I think so. But it's sort of that scene is really that combination of immense grief and then this sort of hysteria. And I'd even call it like there's something, the release as such, like euphoric is the wrong word, but there is something sort of other about that in-between emotional state that both her and Philip are in. It's like, you don't expect that you would do that in your life. You don't expect that that's going to happen to you and to someone else and that you'd be in that position. And so there's something so otherworldly and grave and incomprehensible about what they're experiencing that I think human just sort of dumbness comes through. And so the only thing that she can do in that moment would maybe be to say something like that.
And it's such a feeble sorry. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
sorry, I can't even do this right.
It's almost like those things in life which are just, the wattage is like too high. The only way to understand it is almost like with a nonchalance or react to it is kind of a sort of, no one can hold that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the mixture of emotions you play in that scene is the key to its success. In addition to that sorry, you have to navigate so much in that moment. It's a moment that's really stayed with me from the film for sure.
Oh, good.
Yeah. In terms of directing, I like to imagine how you worked on set. You shot on 16 millimeter, obviously. So, Kristen, were you below the camera directing Imogen the whole time? I picture you just crouched below the camera directing her through each scene. What was the experience like in terms of where you were standing in relation to each other?
I mean, geographically, it kind of does depend on the scene. I wasn't always right next to the camera because I wanted the camera to be able to move very, very freely. And I never knew really what she was going to do. And she had the freedom to, we were following her. So I did have a tiny little monitor that I could never see her on really. And so I would make her do too many takes always. I'd be like, oh, one more time. And I would get into the edit and be like, she did it in the first 5, absolute over and over and over. And we did it 12 times.
But I think we would have still done it 72 times.
It's
Because we were
nice.
both like,
Again, I want it more,
just to
more.
know, just to be
Who
sure.
knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But no, I depending on the scene, when I watch the film, I know exactly where I am in relation to Imogen at all times. I'm either like on the floor with my crappy monitor or yelling at her from a. I felt like I was in her lap the entire time. I hope it wasn't oppressive.
You wouldn't want to trust a director with like good posture, who's like comfy at the monitor. Like every great director I've come across has been like scrunched into a like ball on the floor in like a sort of trash can, directing the movie.
Right.
No, but sometimes I had to like put handcuffs on to not be like, can I touch, I'll be in the scene too.
Imogen, did you feel that? Did you feel like Kristen having to restrain herself in those moments?
I mean, no, I didn't feel that. I was like, the way that we made the film was, I mean, quite quickly we sort of, I'm going to use better words because the words we've been using are trust and kismet and synergy. And the only way to explain it is it's like our bones melted together and we had such belief in each other and we want everything for one another all the time. And the stakes were high because of that. So I think we just sort of, the proximity emotionally and physically was like, not even on my mind. It was so welcome. And it was the only way to do it was literally to like, just to use we're going to be using a lot of like aquatic analogies, I feel like, but we were just like there together swimming out. We really were the whole film swimming out together. And I would have been deeply suspicious if a person who decided to direct this film was clinical or remote or sort of
left the job to you. Yeah, it's like, okay, go on then.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's like I had to do it with her because you can't do stuff like that alone.
I want to hit you with another line from the book, and that's also resonated. And that's there is another kind of love, the love of art. I believe in art the way other people believe in God. So is that something you subscribe to? You mentioned earlier that belief in art. Is that a line that really speaks to you about how you think about it?
I mean, I think it's kind of just the way that I've lived my entire life. You don't need to be like a filmmaker or a writer to live artfully or to kind of like live in a way that I don't know. I think poetry is cool because it's not about what you're saying. It's about like how you're saying it and your kind of grasp on the spirituality of all of our connectivity. And like that to me definitely feels like something that I would be kind of lost without. And so that line also really resonates with me. It's funny that you pick these two lines. They were in the movie. She delivered the first one that you said in the monologue, like that we cut.
Yeah.
That I made you do 50 times. But those little gaps, like the things that aren't in the movie, because we did cut like 5 movies out of the movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like spiritually and kind of religiously, they're still there because she did them. You know what I mean? It's like you might not see them, but you might not be privy to the sort of specificity of those moments. But I feel that those lines are in the movie. And sometimes when you capture an image and it speaks louder than the words, that means that's adaptation. You know what I mean? It's like not just a regurgitation of the exacting, like the verbiage changed into pictures. And it was so cool to like start stripping some of the voiceover. It was very voiceover sort of laden initially. And then what happened was the story kind of just became physical and told itself. And so we didn't have to say those things. But I'm so pleased that you pulled those from the book because they're very important.